And walking in wealth is not just about making good financial decisions. It is about making good life decisions. That it cannot just be about the money. Rich looks like wealth, but it don't feel like it. If you have wealth and no wisdom, the result is a waste of the wealth. Because at the end of the day, the value is you. Greetings and thank you for tuning in to Walking in Wealth. I'm your host, JD Garnier, and you are listening to KKNOK 75 AM on 107.1 FM radio in New Orleans. I hope you had a productive week in your wealth creation journey. And listen, my goal for this show is simple: to help you walk in wealth, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. To take the things that God has already given you and use those to create a life of purpose, so that wealth is much more than just what you acquire. Wealth is who you become. You are the wealth. Not your investment portfolio, not your real estate holdings, not your business. You are the wealth. And before you have any of those things, you have a unique and specific set of talents, abilities, gifts, ideas, inclinations, habits, and discipline that form the basis of any and everything that you do in life. And once you tap into that, you start your wealth creation journey. So I repeat, you are the wealth. First things first, if you're not following me on social media, please follow me on Instagram at GarnierJD, Facebook at JD Garnier, Twitter at JD Garnier1, and subscribe, like, and share the Walking in Wealth YouTube channel. Now listen, if you've been listening to my show for any amount of time, I think the passion in which I talk about a lot of this stuff is obvious. I think that I'm energetic about this topic because it's personal to me. And I really hope that you can feel that come through when I talk about it, because it's not just about me. I'm not just doing this for my own benefit. I really want us to live better. I want us to accomplish all of our goals and dreams. I want us to find peace. But so much of that has to do with how we treat, manage, and control our resources. Let me repeat that. So much of that has to do with how we treat, manage, and control our resources. The only reason that we're doing any of this, any of it, going to work every day, starting businesses, saving, investing, building wealth, making good financial decisions, the whole purpose is to accumulate resources that we use towards the things and the people that we care about. That's why we're doing all of this stuff. But when these things are not in alignment, that brings chaos to our life. It creates discourse. It puts things out of order. When we mismanage our resources, the things that we truly care about suffer. And when we prioritize the wrong things, the people that we care about suffer. I continue to drive the point that walking in wealth is not just about making good financial decisions. It is about making good life decisions. Those two things go hand in hand. And until we understand that, we're going to keep falling short. Now, this past weekend, I was watching TV and I was watching Ayana Zant Fix My Life. And it was reruns on TV. And the episode I was watching was the one where she spent time with the young black woman that won the lottery a few years ago. Now, this woman won $186 million in the lottery. And I hear people say all the time, man, if I just won the lottery, that would fix all of my problems. If I could just hit this Powerball, I wouldn't have anything to worry about. We've all laid in our beds at night and thought about what we would do if we won the lottery, what we would spend it on, what we would buy, who we would give money to. We've all thought about it. And this woman won the lottery. And I'm watching this show, and this woman's life was in complete shambles. I mean, her house was a mess. She had junk everywhere. She was depressed. She had broken relationships with her mother, with her child, with her boyfriend, whom she spent over $21 million just to bail him out of jail. Her life was a mess. She had all the money that anybody could ever want in a life that nobody would ever choose. And I'm looking at this, and it became confirmation to me that it cannot just be about the money. $186 million later, and this woman was in the same position in life as when she had nothing. Confused, unhappy, overwhelmed, paranoid, uncertain, insecure. She had all of the resources available to her, and at the very same time, her life was in shambles. And if money can't fix that, then what's the solution? The solution is the mind. It's your mindset. The reason why fast riches can't bring peace in a way that slow wealth can is the same reason why microwave food will never taste like home cooking. The preparation period has to align with the results. You compromise the integrity of the results of the process when you speed up the time, and the results never come out the same. Even if it looks the same, it does not taste the same. Rich looks like wealth, but it don't feel like it. I'm going to say that again. Rich looks like wealth, but it does not feel like it. It has all the same ingredients, but the results are not the same. See, when you put something in the oven, all of those ingredients are embedded into one another. There was a mixture that takes place. All of those separate ingredients become one. And once they combine, they can't be separated. They are all a part of one another once you get the finished product. The seasoning, the toppings, the base, the flavor are all indistinguishable because one becomes a part of another through the cooking process, the preparation process. And when you have a wealth mindset, your mind becomes embedded into the things that you have control over, into the resources that you have, in your outlook, your access, your control, your decision making of those resources cannot be separated. They are all in alignment. That's why building wealth takes longer. Rich is the abundance of resources and money. You win a lottery, you get rich. You win a lawsuit, you get rich. You go viral on the internet, you get rich. But wealth is the relationship between time and money, with the ultimate goal of separating your time from your money. When you can increase your money without an increase in your time, your work, your labor, and your effort, that is how you build wealth. And the only way to do that is through the ownership, control, and management of resources. Because if you're not the one that's doing the work, something has to be doing the work for you to earn the money. Your resources. Your resources are doing the work. Your resources are the ones that are earning. But the ownership and possession of those resources is not enough without the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of how to use, how to control, how to dispose, how to manage those resources. And that's where we fall short a lot of times. Let me give you an example. If you give a 1-year-old child a $1 bill, what are they going to do with it? They're going to tear it up. They're going to try and eat it. A 1-year-old has no understanding on how to use that dollar. They have no idea how to use that money as a resource. So it's wasted. Now, if instead you give a 5-year-old a $5 bill, they might not tear it up. They might not eat it. They understand that that $5 holds value, but it really won't mean much of anything to them because they don't really understand what that money can do. They don't understand what that value means. And so they may play with it. They may put it in their piggy bank. They may get excited that they got $5 and then 5 minutes later they completely forget about it. But the point is they don't understand what that resource means. Now, on top of that, if instead of doing that, you gave a 15-year-old a $100 bill. Now, they understand the value of that money, but they don't know how to use it as a resource. They don't know the best ways to use it. So instead, they're probably going to go spend it on something that they don't need. They're going to go buy something that they enjoy doing. See, they know what it can buy, but they don't understand what that money can do. And with all of these examples, the person either didn't understand what they had, didn't know the value of what they had, or didn't know how to use what they had. And so many times, that is where we find ourselves, with something that we don't understand, we don't know the value of, or we don't know how to use. How many of us have resources that we either don't understand, don't know the value of, or don't know how to use? And so how can your resources work for you if you have no idea what they're worth, how to use them, what they can do? How can your resources work for you if you don't understand those resources? If you don't know what they're worth, if you don't know how to use them? And this is why a woman that wins $186 million is still in the same condition that she was in when she was broke. She had $186 million of value with no idea how to use it. It takes a certain level of wisdom for that 1-year-old to understand the resources that they have. It takes a certain level of wisdom for that 5-year-old to understand the value of those resources. It takes a certain amount of wisdom for that teenager to understand how to use those resources. But you think that you're ready to handle winning the lottery with no preparation whatsoever. You think that you're ready to handle wealth with no preparation whatsoever. So let's take money out of the scenario. Let's say instead of $186 million, you inherited 186 acres of farmland. You never ran a farm in your life. You never lived on a farm. You don't know the first thing about taking care of a farm, and now all of a sudden you are responsible for maintaining 186 acres of land. Do you think that you have the knowledge and wisdom to maintain that land? Or will your mismanagement of those resources cause some of that land, some of those crops to be wasted? If you don't learn or get help, how long before that land is not producing anything? How long before you mismanage the resource in a way that it is completely depleted? How long before you mismanage the asset? Does that make sense? I mean, do you see why wealth requires wisdom? Your wisdom and your wealth need to be in direct alignment with one another. Because if they are not in alignment, they're going to be wasted. If you have wealth and no wisdom, the result is a waste of the wealth. And if you have wisdom with no wealth, the result is a waste of the wisdom. Those things have to be in alignment with one another. So in the beginning, your time is spent understanding, accumulating, managing, owning resources, using your human capital, which is the first resource that you'll ever have. Your human capital is the sum total of your abilities, your talents, your gifts, your mind, your work ethic, your ideas, your education, your leadership abilities, your compassion. Your human capital is the first thing that you have to create resources. In the beginning, that's all you have. And if the first and most valuable resource is yourself, and you don't understand what you have, you don't know the value of what you have, you don't know how to use what you have, you are mismanaging and wasting yourself. You mismanaging your time, you wasting your time. You mismanaging your talents, you're wasting your talents. If you don't know who you are, how can you be wealthy? If you don't understand the value of yourself, how can you understand the value of the resources that you are in control of? I really hope this is making sense. Those things have to be in alignment. If you're going to develop a wealth mindset, you're going to have to dig deep. You're going to have to be honest with yourself. You're mismanaging your financial resources because you're mismanaging yourself. You're not making good decisions. You're not thinking about your life 2 steps ahead. You're not planning things out. Your life is in chaos. Your priorities are out of line. You're not using your talents. Your work ethic is horrible. You're scared to take risks. You're connected to the wrong people. You're living an unhealthy life. You have all of these things going on. You're making bad decisions. You have the wrong people around you. All of that's going on. And you think money is just supposed to solve it. It does not work like that. Life doesn't work like that. Things do not work like that. And I'm not saying that your life needs to be perfect, but if you are seeking financial wealth, you are going to have to evaluate and reconfigure the things going on in your life that are preventing you from your potential. Your work ethic, your fear, self-esteem, selfishness, impatience, discipline. You need to self-evaluate. An investment strategy is not going to fix that. A real estate deal is not going to solve that. A financial miracle cannot rectify that. Because at the end of the day, the value is you. You are the asset. The money is just a resource, but you are the asset. And if the asset is not handled properly, the resources diminish. The land is the asset. If the land is not handled properly, the crops diminish. The business is the asset. If the business is not handled properly, the stocks are worthless. And so the $186 million question is, if nothing changed in your life, if you did not improve in any way, if you did not gain any level of wisdom and understanding more than what you have now, would you be able to handle $186 million? If you didn't change your work ethic, if you didn't improve your discipline, if you didn't change your circle, if you didn't commit to educating and informing and empowering yourself, how ready would you be to get a check for $186 million? What about $1 million? Could you handle that? What about $100,000? Your expectation must be matched by your preparation. Now, I know you keep wanting me to give you the 5 secrets, the top 3 ways to do this, the easiest path to build wealth, but I have to give you the truth. You will have to change the way that you think and the way that you live to prepare yourself for the life that you want. Walking in wealth is about your actions. And if your mind is not ready, the resources won't last. If your mind is not ready, the resources will not last. If you never develop an understanding of what you have, know the value of what you have, and know how to use what you have, it will always be wasted, misused, and mismanaged. That's my show.